Hi lovely friends, Christians again, welcome back to another video. This is another quest line for Cole, and in this video is 7 horror characters inspired by true events. Okay, let's check it out, baby.
Horror movies like I do, you might find what I'm about to tell you unsettling at best. Horror movies are entertaining because they're fictional. Some of the best ones, like Halloween, Scream, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
and Megan
introduced us to Michael Myers, Ghostface, and Leatherface, respectively. They're fun to watch because they give us a jump and show us the extreme evil that doesn't actually exist. Or doesn't. As it turns out, many fictional movie characters aren't fiction at all, but were actually based on real people and real events. After this, you'll never look at your favorite horror movie villain the same again.
Megan, am I going to be scared of you now after watching this?
Here are 7 horror characters inspired by real events. Number 7 is Leatherface. The Texas Chainsaw
I knew about the
Massacre
Leatherface one,
was released in
18.
1974 and since has become a horror classic. The film is about a group of friends who become victims to a family of cannibals on their way to an old homestead. They become victims specifically to Bubba or Leatherface, who wore the faces of his victims on his own. But while the movie and its characters are fictional, the story is actually
It's a
based
classic,
on the
but
notorious
it's scary as
1950s
hell.
Wisconsin murderer Ed Gein. Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield, or the
Yeah, I knew about
Plainfield
this one.
was arrested for 2 murders and suspected of 7 more, and was also charged with mutilating 9 bodies that he dug up from graves. He used their bodies to fashion a wastebasket.
That's just sick and gross, man.
Made of their skin and faces. He even placed human skulls on his bedposts, stitched together a belt made of nipples, and collected other body
Oh my
parts
God.
into trophies. He is the original Leatherface. Number 6 is Ghostface. Scream was introduced.
Well, Ghostface is an actual human being, that's what makes him scary.
Staple in horror culture that has spawned multiple sequels. It follows high
And
school
prequels,
students
remember,
Prescott and her friends
that one came out.
who become the targets of a mysterious killer in a Halloween costume known as Ghostface.
I actually like all the Scream movies, even the last 2.
Serial killer named Danny Rowland, aka the Gainesville Ripper. He murdered 5 students in Gainesville, Florida over 4 days in August of 1990, as well as a triple homicide in his home city of Shreveport, Louisiana, and in total confessed to killing 8 people. He was known for his style of using a knife to brutally execute his victims, which inspired the killing style of the Ghostface. Number 5 is Hannibal Lecter. Silence of the Lambs was introduced.
He's a real person too, which makes him scary, you know.
A young FBI trainee who's hunting a serial
Another
killer
one of my
known
favorites,
as
Silence of the
Dr.
Lambs.
And, in offset to catch him, seeks the advice of the imprisoned Dr. Hannibal Lecter, a brilliant psychiatrist and cannibalistic serial. As it turns out, the character of Dr. Lecter was directly inspired by a little-known Mexican murderer named Alfredo Trevino. Trevino was a doctor who was interviewed by Thomas Harris, the original writer of the novel that the movie was based upon. While doing research at the Nuevo Leon Topo Chico Penitentiary, Harris saw Trevino save the life of an inmate. It wasn't until Harris was leaving the prison that he discovered that the doctor was actually one of the prisoners, convicted of slashing up his lover with a screwdriver.
Oh, that's unique. A screwdriver?
Into a small box. This became the inspiration for Hannibal Lecter. Number 4 is Regan McNeil. The Exorcist.
Yeah, I know I've heard about this one too.
Follows the demonic possession of a young girl named Regan McNeil.
I like The Exorcist, but to me it's a bit overrated. It's a good movie though, it's a classic.
This movie has always been one of the scariest movies ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what makes it even scarier is that Regan McNeil's exorcism was based on the real-life exorcism of a boy.
I even like the new Exorcist movie. I thought that was well done. The new Exorcist movie.
Visited by several priests attempting to cure him of demonic possession in the 1940s. Like Regan McNeil in the movie and the novel it is based upon, Rowland reportedly spoke in a gravelly voice and would demonically throw furniture in
Your father, Garrus.
During 2 separate exorcisms, the boy became violent, breaking the nose of one of the priests and breaking out of his arm restraints, and even stabbed the other priest with a sharp object.
Wow.
Number 3 is Freddy Krueger. A Nightmare on Elm Street was released in 1984 and is about several Midwestern teenagers who fall prey to Freddy Krueger, a
That's one of my favorite series.
killer who stalks and kills teenagers in their dreams, which in turn kills them in real life. Director Wes Craven was inspired to create the story of Krueger and his dream power after reading newspaper articles printed in the Los Angeles Times in the 1970s. The articles were about refugees who fled to the U.S. because of war and genocide in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and suffered disturbing nightmares so terrifying they refused to sleep. Multiple men and women who finally fell asleep after exhaustion ended up dying in their sleep. Number 2 is Pennywise. Stephen King's It, released in 1990, revolves around a group of kids who
what's his name? John Wayne Gacy, right?
An interdimensional predatory life form named It, which has the ability to transform itself into its prey's worst fears, specifically a wisecracking clown called Pennywise the Dancing Clown. It was inspired by a real-life serial killer named John Wayne Gacy, who tortured and murdered at least 33 young men and boys, 26 of which were buried in the crawl space of his home. Gacy regularly performed at children's hospitals and charitable events.
Definitely a
as
creepy loser.
Or Patches the Clown.
Disgusting.
He became known as the Killer Clown due to his public services as a clown prior to the discovery of his crimes. His story, as well as both the movie and novel It, have greatly contributed to increased horophobia in our society.
You should watch Terrifier. He's worse and more scary than Michael than Pennywise. Yeah.
Is arguably the most famous horror franchise of all time, inspiring an entire genre of horror movies and knockoff franchises. On Halloween night in 1963, 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally murders his 17-year-old sister, Judith Myers. He's sentenced and locked away for 15 years, but reemerges on October 30th, 1978, as a 21-year-old man after escaping while being transferred to a court date, and returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, waiting for his next victim. Director John Carpenter revealed that the main inspiration for Myers came from a class visit to a mental institution while attending Western Kentucky University, where he visited the most seriously mentally ill patients, one of which was a young boy around the age of 12 or 13, who, according to Carpenter, had the devil's eyes. This became the inspiration for the dark, lifeless eyes behind the mask of Michael Myers, who would go on to become one of the most iconic horror movie characters of all time. Thank you guys for watching this, and I actually have some good news today. After a year and a half, I have officially re-enabled channel memberships. There are currently 3 tiers, and each tier gives you additional benefits like early access to my videos, discounts on merchandise, and we can add each other to social media. If you're interested in getting more out of my channel and my content, click the join button beside the subscribe button and check it out. Other than that, be sure to add me to all the things. All the links are in the description below, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Ooh, you should disappear, but I'll watch that next. Yeah, I always like Master Santoro. He's one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, so. With that said, one more upload is coming, and it's a special one, and it involves Megan here. Megan, you know I wouldn't be scared of you after watching this video. At least you weren't included in this. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.